Thank you for joining me today. We are learning Berachos Daf Zayin. (27a1). Hainu Rabbanan is the same as that of the rabbis. Both would agree that Mincha may be recited until nightfall. The Gemara counters, Elamai, but what is your conclusion, ad velo ad bichlal? That the word until means until but not including. Ema Seifa, but consider the latter section of the Mishnah, Misham Musaf Kol Hayom, and the prayers of Musaf may be recited the entire day. Rabbi Huda says, ad sheva shos, until 7 hours into the day. Betanya, and it was taught in the Brisa, hoy lefanav shtei tfilos, if one had before him two prayers to recite, acha shel musaf, acha shel mincha, one of musaf and one of mincha, mispal shel mincha v'achach shel musaf. He prays that of mincha first, and afterward that of musaf. Shazot tadira, for this one ayi mincha is more frequent, v'zoyne tadira, whereas this one ayi musaf is not as frequent. Rabbi Huda says, mispal shel musaf v'achach shel mincha. He prays that of musaf first, and afterward that of mincha. Shazot veris, for the time for this one musaf elapses early in the day, since it can be recited only until 7 hours. For Zo'ino veris, whereas the time for this one mincha does not elapse early, since it can be recited up until half of mincha. Now it is well if you say that by until Rabbi Huda means until and including. This then is how these two prayers are found to coincide. But if you say that by until Rabbi Huda means until but not including, how are these two prayers ever found to coincide? Why, once the time for mincha has arrived, the time for musaf has already departed. The Gemara, however, returns to the original objection. But what is your conclusion, that the word until means until and including kashi reisha? If so, the beginning of the Mishnah is difficult. As stated above, Ma'ika ben Rabbi Huda Rabbanan, what difference is there between the rulings of Rabbi Huda and the rabbis? Both agree that mincha may be prayed until evening. The Gemara answered, Misavrat, the high plag mincha achrona kamar. Do you think that by this phrase, half of mincha Rabbi Huda means the latter half of mincha ktana, i.e. the last hour and a quarter of the day, and therefore if the word until means until and including it emerges that mincha may be recited until the end of the day? No. Plag rishona kamar. Rabbi Huda means the first half of mincha ktana, i.e. the period extending from 2.5 hours before the end of the day to 1.25 hours before the end of the day. Accordingly, when Rabbi Huda said that mincha may be prayed until half of mincha, he meant until and including the first half. V'achi karma, and this is what the Brisa cited above is saying. When does the first half of mincha depart and the latter half arrive? When 11 hours less a quarter of the day depart. The Gemara supports his conclusion that according to Rabbi Huda, the word until means until and including. Rav Nachman said, Afanan nami tanina. We have also learned so in a Mishnah. Rabbi Huda ben Bava heid chamisha dvar. Rabbi Huda ben Bava testified regarding 5 matters shememaninon esakana, that we the court cause I encouraged a minor girl to reject her husband. 27a2. And that we, the court, allow a woman whose husband has traveled abroad to remarry based on one witness that reports that her husband has died. And about a rooster that was once stoned in Jerusalem for killing a person. And about wine 40 days old that was poured as a libation on the altar. and about the morning Talmud that it may be offered even during the 4th hour of the day. Shema mina ad b'chlal. Learn from this, from the fact that the Mishnah says during the 4 hours, that the word until used by Rabbi Yehuda means until and including. The Gemara concludes, Shema mina. Indeed, learn it from this. The Gemara issues a ruling. Amar Rav Kahana said, Halacha Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha follows Rabbi Yehuda, that the Talmud offering may not be brought, and therefore that the morning prayer may not be recited after the 4th hour of the day. Hold now b'vchirsa kivase. Since the Mishnah in the choicest tractate at Edios follows his opinion. The Mishnah in Edios said, Val Talmud shel shachar shekarav ba'ar b'shas, and about the morning Talmud that it may be offered only during the first 4 hours of the day. The Gemara inquires, Mantana lahaditnan, who taught that which the rabbis taught in a brisa? V'chama shemesh v'namas. Scripture states with regard to the manna, and when the sun grew hot, it would melt. This melting occurred arba shos, at 4 hours into the day, i.e. during the 4th hour. Ata omer ba'arba shos, you say at 4 hours, o eno el b'shei shos, but perhaps it was rather at 6 hours, i.e. during the 6th hour. Keshu omer kechamayom, when it states elsewhere that the heat of the day, harei shei shos omer, the reference to 6 hours is thereby stated. So how do I interpret the verse, and when the sun grew hot, it would melt, which implies at a time of day when the sun is hot, but the shade is still cool. Ba'arba shos, it means at 4 hours into the day. Mani. Now, who is the Tana of this brisa? Who holds that the 4th hour of the day is no longer called morning? Lo Rabbi Yehuda, v'lo Rabbanan. It is neither Rabbi Yehuda nor the rabbis. Rabbi Yehuda, for if it is Rabbi Yehuda, ad abrashos namitafru. Why? He maintains that until the end of 4 hours is also considered morning. Rabbanan, and if it is the rabbis, ad chatos namitafru. They maintain that until noon is also considered morning. 27a3. The Gemara answers, Iboy Sema Rabbi Huda, Iboy Sema Rabbanan. If you prefer, say it is Rabbi Huda, and if you prefer, say it is the rabbis. The Gemara elaborates. Iboy Sema Rabbanan. If you prefer, say it is the rabbis for Amar Kro Baboka. The verse in regard to the manna states in the morning, a double expression which implies Chalkeu L'Shnei Bekarim. Divide the morning, which totals 6 hours, into 2 mornings, each consisting of 3 hours. Accordingly, the verse means that they gathered the manna during the first morning, i.e. the first 3 hours of the day, and during the remainder of the day it melted. And if you prefer to say it is Rabbi Huda and Hai Boker Yisera Lahaktin Lo Sha'achas, this extra word morning serves to move up the time for gathering the manna by 1 hour. The Gemara asks, the Kula Alma Mio V'chama Shemesh V'namas Ba'arba Shos. At any rate, everyone agrees that, and when the sun grew hot, it would melt, occurred at 4 hours, i.e. during the 4th hour. My mashma, how is this implied? The Gemara answers, Amar Rav Bar Yaakov said, Amar Kra V'chama Shemesh V'namas. Scripture states, and when the sun grew hot, it would melt. Ezohi Shah Shashemesh Cham Ba'atzil Tzonen. What time of day is it when the sun is hot and the shade is still cool? The shade still is cool. Have a Omer Ba'arba Shas. Say that this is at 4 hours. The Mishnah said, Tfilas HaMincha Ado Erev. The afternoon prayer may be recited until the evening. Rabbi Huda says until half of Mincha. The Gemara seeks a definitive ruling on this matter. Amalei Rav Chisda Rav Yitzchak. Rav Chisda said to Rav Yitzchak, Hasam Amar Rav Kahana Halacha Rabbi Huda. There, with regard to Shacharis, Rav Kahana said that the halacha follows Rabbi Huda, that it may be recited until the end of the 4th hour. Hol Snan B'Fchira Kivase. Since a Mishnah in a choicest tractate follows his opinion. Hachamai. Here, with regard to Mincha, what is the law? Do we follow the rabbis of Rabbi Huda? Ishtik v'lo amalei v'lo midi. Rav Yitzchak was silent and did not reply to him at all. Amar Rav Chisda. Thereupon Rav Chisda said, Nechze Anan, let us see for ourselves. Midi Rav Mitzali shel Shabbos Erev Shabbos Mivod Yom. From the fact that Rav prayed the Marav prayer of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath, i.e. on Friday, while it was still daytime. Shema mina halacha Rabbi Huda. Learn from this that the halacha follows Rabbi Huda. The Gemara counters Adarabba. On the contrary, Midrafuna v'Rabbana lo havu mitzalo ad orta. From the fact that Rafuna and the rabbis would not pray Marav until nightfall. Shema mina ein halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Learn from this that the halacha is not according to the Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara concludes Hashtad lo itmar hilchas lo kumar v'lo kumar. Now that the halacha has not been stated, i.e., decided in accordance with either this or that master, the rabbis or Rabbi Yehuda, the avad kamar avad. He who does as this master, i.e., the rabbi that recites mincha until nightfall, does correctly. The avad kamar avad, and he who does as this master, i.e., Rabbi Yehuda, concluding mincha by half of mincha and praying marav immediately thereafter, does correctly. On 27.8.4 at the top. A related incident, Rav Ikla Lebei Gniva V'Tali Shel Shabbos B'Erev Shabbos. Rav visited the house of Gniva and prayed marav of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath. V'Matali Rav Yirmiyah Barabba L'Achorei the Rav. And Rav Yirmiyah Barabba, Rav's student, prayed behind Rav. The Siyam Rav V'Lo Paske L'Tzlose the Rav Yirmiyah. And Rav completed his prayer and did not disrupt the prayer of Rav Yirmiyah. So we're going to read note 31. Rav prayed facing the wall, and Rabbi Yirmiyah stood behind him and a little bit off to the side, either to the right or the left. When Rav completed his Shmona Esrei, he did not pass between Rabbi Yirmiyah, who was still in the middle of Shmona Esrei, and the wall, in order to return to his seat, which was on the other side of Rabbi Yirmiyah. Rather, he stood in his place. Rashi is understood by Magen Avram 102.7. See Machzas HaShekel in the name of Chemed Moshe, Beis Yosef, end of Siman 102, in the name of Orchos Chaim. The Gemara remarks, Shema Mina Chlas. Learn from this incident three things. Shema Mina Mispal Adam Shel Shabbos B'Erev Shabbos. Learn from this that a person may pray Marav of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath, i.e. on Friday afternoon after half of Mincha. Shema Mina Mispal Talmud Achori Rabbo. And learn from this that a student may pray behind his teacher. Shema Mina also Labo Keneged HaMispalim. I learn from this that it is forbidden to pass before those who are praying. The Gemara comments regarding this last point. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. This supports Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Damar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. For Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said, also Lavo Keneged HaMispalim. It is forbidden to pass before those who are praying. The Gemara questions this ruling. Any, is this so? For Rabbi Yami v'Ravasi Chalfei, why Rabbi Ami and Ravasi would pass before one who was praying. The Gemara answers, Rabbi Ami v'Ravasi chutz la'arba amos d'chalfei. Rabbi Ami and Ravasi would pass only beyond 4 amos of the person. In the incident cited above, the Gemara related that Rabbi Yirmiyah prayed while standing in back of his teacher. The Gemara wonders about this. For Rabbi Yirmiyah hechiyavid hachi, how could Rabbi Yirmiyah do this? V'ha amar Rabbi Yehuda amar Rav. Why? Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rav, L'olam al yishpal adam, a person should never pray. 27b1, Chav Zayin Amud Beis. Lo keneged Rabbo, neither alongside his Torah teacher, v'lo achori Rabbi, nor behind his Torah teacher. V'tanya, and similarly, it was taught in a brayso. Rabbi Lezer Omer, Rabbi Lezer said, Hamispal achori Rabbi, one who prays behind his Torah teacher, and also Shalom l'Rabbo, and one who greets his Torah teacher as he would an ordinary person. V'hamachzir Shalom l'Rabbo, and one who returns a greeting to his Torah teacher as he would to an ordinary person. V'acholakal yeshivos Rabbo, and one who challenges the academy of his Torah teacher. V'omer davar shelo shama mipi Rabbo, and one who says something that he did not hear from his Torah teacher. Gorm l'shchina shehistalik mi Yisrael, causes the divine presence to depart from Israel. The Gemara replied, Shani Rabbi Yomi Berachos Daf. Rabbi Yomi Berachos Daf was different. The Talmud Chaber Haba, for he was a student who was equal to Rav in knowledge. And Kamalei Rabbi Yomi Berachos Daf Rav, and this is the explanation of what Rabbi Yomi Berachos Daf said to Rav. When Rav prayed the Sabbath evening Marav on Friday afternoon, mi badlat. Have you abstained from work? Are you having accepted upon yourself the Sabbath by reciting the Sabbath prayer? Are you also refraining from performing labor? And Rav replied, yes, I have abstained. V'lo Amar, and Rabbi Yomi Berachos did not say, Mi Badil Mar, has master abstained. The Gemara asks, Umi Badal, and did Rav actually abstain from work after praying? But Ravavin said, Pamachas Ispalo Rabbi Shabbos Be'erev Shabbos. One time Rabbi prayed Marv of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath, on Friday afternoon. V'nichnas l'merchat v'yotz, and afterwards he entered the bathhouse and exited. V'shanalon Pirkin, and taught us our lesson. V'adayin lo chashcha, and it had not yet become dark. From the fact that Rebbe entered the bathhouse after having prayed Marav, we see that praying Marav early on Friday afternoon does not obligate one to refrain from labor. The Gemara answers, Amar Rava said, Hahu denichnas la'aziyah v'kodem gzera hava. That case was where he entered the bathhouse to steam bathe, and it was before the rabbinic decree prohibiting use of a steam room on the Sabbath. The Gemara continues to ask, Eini, is it really so that after reciting the Sabbath evening prayer on Friday afternoon, one must desist from work? V'abaya shara. V'abai Sharle l'Ravdimi bar Levi l'Chabruya l'Sali. But Abai permitted Ravdimi bar Levi to sulfurate baskets after reciting the Sabbath evening prayer on Friday afternoon. The Gemara answers, Ahu tohu sohave. That case was different for Ravdimi, had prayed Marav early in error. Rav, however, had willingly accepted upon himself the Sabbath early. The Gemara asks, V'tohusa mihadra, and is an acceptance of the Sabbath made an error reversible? Well, Amar Avidan, but Avidan said, Pamachas niskashu shamayim ba'avim. Once on Sabbath afternoon, the sky thickened with clouds. Kesur ma'am lomar chashechahu, and the people thought to say that it was nighttime. V'nichnusu leveis ha'knesses v'isfal shamotzei Shabbos b'Shabbos. So they entered the synagogue and prayed Marav of the conclusion of Sabbath on the Sabbath. Subsequently, the clouds dispersed and the sun shone forth, and the people realized their error. They came and asked Rebbe whether they needed to repeat Marav after nightfall. And he said, once they have prayed, they have prayed. Thus we see that a Marav prayer recited early in error still counts as a prayer. Accordingly, since Ravdimi bar Levi recited the Sabbath evening prayer Marav on Friday afternoon, albeit in error, it should count as a valid prayer through which he accepted upon himself the Sabbath. Why then did Abaya permit him to sulfurate the baskets? So sulfurate the baskets, note 10. Fumes of burning sulfur were sometimes used for coloring or tempering objects. See Shabbos 18a with Rashi. Tivergu, because of Gafras. Sota 49b with Rashi. Shal Melach. Bava Basra 97b with Rashbam Tana Pitzot. So as we go along, we'll see some other examples of this. 27b2. The Gemara answers, Shani Tibur Delo Mat Rechinan Lahu. A congregation is different, for we do not trouble them to pray again. The Gemara relates, Amar Reb Chia bar Ravin said, Rav Tzali Shel Shabbos B'Erev Shabbos. Rav prayed Marav of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath. Rabbi Yoshia Metal Shel Motzei Shabbos B'Shabbos. Rabbi Shua prayed Marav of the conclusion of the Sabbath on the Sabbath. The Gemara analyzes the first of these statements. Rav Tzali Shel Shabbos B'Erev Shabbos. Rav prayed Marav of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath. Omer Kedusha al Hakos o Eino Omer Kedusha al Hakos. May one who does this recite Kiddush over the cup of wine immediately after praying Marav, even though it is not yet night, or may he not recite Kiddush over the cup? The Gemara answers, Tashma. Come learn the answer. The Amar of Nachman Amar Shmuel. For if Nachman said in the name of Shmuel, Mispal Adam Shel Shabbos B'Erev Shabbos, a person who may recite Marav of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath, Omer Kedusha al Hakos, and he may recite Kiddush over the cup. The Gemara concludes, V'Hilchos HaKabaseh, and the halacha follows this view. The Gemara analyzes Reb Chia bar Ravin's second statement. Rabbi Yoshia Matali Shel Motzei Shabbos B'Shabbos. Rabbi Yoshia prayed Marav of the conclusion of the Sabbath on the Sabbath. Amar Havdalah Alakos. May one who does this recite Havdalah over a cup of wine immediately after praying Marav, even though it is not yet night. Or Eino Omer Havdalah Alakos. Or may he not recite Havdalah over the cup. The Gemara says, Tashma, come learn the answer. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. For Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel, Mispal Adam Shel Motzei Shabbos B'Shabbos, a person may pray Marav of the conclusion of the Sabbath on the Sabbath. Well, Omer Havdalah Alakos, and he may recite Havdalah over the cup. The Gemara cites a related incident. Amar Reb Zera, Amar Rabbi Asi, Amar Reb Elazar, Amar Reb Chanina, Amar Rav. Reb Zera said in the name of Reb Asi, who said in the name of Reb Elazar, who said in the name of Reb Chanina, who said in the name of Rav. B'tzad amud zeh v'yispalo Rabbi Yishmael b'Rabbi Yossi shel Shabbos b'Erev Shabbos. On the side of this pillar, Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Rabbi Yossi, prayed Marav of the Sabbath on the eve of the Sabbath. A different version of the incident is cited. Ki yasa ulu amar b'tzad t'mar hava. When Ula came, he said it was at the side of a date tree. V'lo b'tzad amud hava. It was not at the side of a pillar. V'lo Rabbi Yishmael b'Rabbi Yossi hava. It was not Rabbi Shmuel, the son of Rabbi Yossi, Ela Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yossi Hava. Rather, it was Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Yossi, V'lo Shel Shabbos B'Erev Shabbos Hava, and it was not Marav of the Sabbath on the eve of Sabbath. Ela Shel Motzei Shabbos B'Shabbos Hava. Rather, it was Marav of the conclusion of the Sabbath on the Sabbath. The Mishnah stated, Tfilas Ha'erev in Lo Teheva. The evening prayer has no fixed time. The Gemara inquires, My in Lo Teheva. What is the meaning of it? Has no fixed time. Ilema, if you say it means that if one wishes he may pray Marav the entire night, then let the Mishnah state clearly that evening prayer may be recited all night. Elamai, Elakeva. Rather, what is the meaning of it? It has no fixed time. It is in accordance with the one who says that the evening prayer is elective. The Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel. For Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel, Tfilas Arvis with regard to the Marav prayer, Rabbi Gamliel Omer Chova. Rabbi Gamliel says that it is compulsory. Rabbi Shua says that it is elective. The Amoraim rule on the matter. Amar Abaye said, Halacha Kedivri Omer Chova. The halacha follows the opinion of the one who says it is compulsory. 27b3. But Rava said, Halacha Kedivri Omer Rishus. The halacha follows the opinion of the one who says it is elective. The respective positions of Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Shua cited above figure prominently in an incident. Tana Rabban, and the rabbis taught in the Brisa, Ma'asav Talmud Echad, Shabbat Lefnei Rabbi Shua. There was an incident involving a certain disciple who came before Rabbi Shua. Amalo, the disciple said to him, Tfilas Arvis Rishus Ochova. Is the evening prayer elective or compulsory? Amalei Rishus. He replied, it is elective. Ba'al Lefnei Rabbi Gamliel. The same disciple then came before Rabbi Gamliel. Amalo, he said to him, Tfilas Arvis Rishus Ochova. Is the evening prayer elective or compulsory? Amalo Chova. Rabbi Gamliel replied, it is compulsory. Amalo Valo Rabbi Shua Amalo Rishus. The disciple said to him, but Rabbi Shua told me it was elective. Amalo, Rabbi Gamliel said to him, Hamtein Achi Kansu Bali Trace in Levis HaMidrash. Wait until the shield bearers, i.e. Torah scholars, enter the study hall and pose your question again. Kishanichnasu Bali Tracin, when the shield bearers entered, Amar Shol V'Shal, the questioner arose and asked, Tefillah Sarvis Rishusah Cholva, is the evening prayer elective or compulsory? Amar Rabbi Gamliel Cholva. Rabbi Gamliel replied it was compulsory. Amar Rabbi Gamliel Chacham. Rabbi Gamliel said to the sages, Klum yesh adam shecholek b'davar. Is there anyone who disputes this ruling? Amar Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Amar lo Rabbi Shua lav. Rabbi Shua said to him, no. Amar lo Rabbi Gamliel said to Rabbi Shua, v'lo mishimcha amuli rishus. But in your name it was reported to me that the evening prayer is elective. Amalei said Rabbi Gamliel to Rabbi Shua, Yeshua amod al raglecha v'yoyidu b'acha. Yeshua, stand up on your feet and let them testify against you. Amar Rabbi Shua al Raglav. Amar Rabbi Shua stood up on his feet and said, Ilmoli ani chai v'humes. Were I alive and he, the questioner, dead, I would be able to deny my ruling. Yochel achai l'hakchash esameis. For the living are able to contradict the dead. V'achshav shani chai v'hu chai. Now, however, that I am alive and he is alive, heach yochel hachai l'hakchash esachai. How can the living contradict the living? I am forced to confess that I issued that ruling. The Brisa goes on, how Rabbi Gamliel Yosef V'Dorosh. Rabbi Gamliel continued sitting and lecturing. Rabbi Shua Ma'om Adel Raglav, and Rabbi Shua remained standing on his feet, Ad Shirinanu Kalam, until all the people murmured in indignation. V'amru l'chutzpis ha'turgeman amod, and said to Chutzpitz, the announcer, stop. V'amad, and he stopped. (27b4). The Saga continues. Amrei, they said, Ad kama nitzarei b'nezel. How long will Rabbi Gamliel go on distressing Rabbi Shua? Barosh Hashana Eshtekad Tzarei. Rosh Hashanah last year he distressed him. B'vchoros b'masa Rabbi Tzadok Tzarei. In the matter of the firstborn in the incident with Rabbi Tzadok, he distressed him. Hachanami Tzarei. Here too he distresses him. Tov unabre. Come, let us depose him. Agreeing to this, the sages asked, Ma nokumle, whom shall we appoint in his stead? Nokumle Rabbi Shua. Shall we appoint Rabbi Shua, who cannot do so? We cannot do so. Balmasa, who he is personally involved in the incident. Nokumle Rabbi Akiva. Shall we appoint Rabbi Akiva? We cannot do that either. Perhaps Rabbi Gamliel will cause punishment to befall him, and he will die because he does not have the merit of righteous forefathers to protect him. Rather, let us appoint Rabbi Lazar ben Azariah to Chacham v'Uashir v'Uasiri le'Ezra, for he is wise and he is wealthy and he is the 10th generation from Ezra. The importance of these attributes for the position of Nasi is explained. Hu Chacham, he is wise, so that if he asks something, he will be able to answer. If he is asked something, he will be able to answer. Hu Ashir, he is wealthy. So that if one is needed to deal with the house of the Caesar, he too, Rabbi Gamliel, will be able to go and deal with them. (34) Literally serve. Only a man of wealth was able to deal effectively with the Roman government. Wasiri Ezra, and he is the 10th generation from Ezra. The Isla is Chosavas V'Lomatzi Anishle, so that he possesses the merit of righteous forefathers, and Rabbi Gamliel will be unable to cause him punishment. The choice was adopted. Also, so they came and said to Rabbi Lazar ben Azariah, Nichaleid Lamar de Lehevi Reish Mesifta. It is pleasing to the master to become head of the Mesifta. Amalu Ezel the Imlach ben Shebesi. He said to them, I will go and consult with the members of my household. Azav Imlach b'Divisu. He went and consulted with his wife. Amalei, she said to him, we're on the top of Chav Ches Amud Aleph 28a1. Dilma Ma'ar ben Lach, perhaps they will eventually remove you as well from the post. Amalah, he said to her, L'shtamish yom ochada b'chasa d'gmokro. Let a person use a precious glass cup one day, u'lemachar lidvar, and the next day let it break. Amalei, she said to him, Les l'chivarsa. But you have no white hairs in your beard. It is befitting for a lecture to be older. We will continue continue in the next recording of when we study Berachos Daf Ches, page 28. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you next time.